Within minutes, one of the world's most advanced passenger aircraft disappeared. What followed became the largest search operation in aviation history.
At 12:41 a.m. local time on March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur International Airport for Beijing. The Boeing 777-200ER carried 239 people, 227 passengers, and 12 crew members from multiple countries. The aircraft, registered 9M-MRO, had an excellent safety record and had accumulated thousands of successful flight hours. In command was Captain Zahari Ahmed Shah, an experienced airline pilot with over 18,000 flying hours. Beside him sat First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid. The weather along the planned route was favorable. Pre-flight inspections revealed no significant technical issues. For the first 38 minutes, everything appeared completely normal. The aircraft climbed smoothly to its cruising altitude and followed its planned route toward Vietnamese airspace. Then, at 1:19 a.m., the captain transmitted what would become one of the most famous final radio calls in aviation history.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
No one knew those would be the last confirmed words ever heard from the flight.
Less than 2 minutes later, the aircraft's transponder suddenly stopped transmitting.
Transponders stopped. To civilian controllers, MH370 vanished. There was no mayday.
There was no mayday call, no warning of smoke, fire, or engine failure. Initially, controllers believed it might simply be a communication problem. Attempts to contact the crew continued, while Vietnamese controllers waited for the aircraft to enter their airspace. It never did. As concern grew, military radar revealed something unexpected. Instead of continuing toward Beijing, the aircraft had made a dramatic turn back across the Malaysian peninsula before heading northwest over the Strait of Malacca. This maneuver had not been cleared by air traffic control. It also suggested that the aircraft was still under control after disappearing from civilian radar. Even after radar contact was lost, the aircraft continued communicating in one unexpected way. Its satellite communication system automatically exchanged hourly electronic handshakes with an Inmarsat satellite. These were not voice calls or position reports, but they confirmed that the aircraft remained powered and airborne for several more hours. Analysis of those signals indicated that MH370 most likely flew south into the remote southern Indian Ocean. From that moment, investigators faced one of the greatest challenges in aviation history: finding a single aircraft in one of the most isolated stretches of ocean on Earth. As investigators analyzed radar data and satellite communications, the search area shifted thousands of kilometers away from the South China Sea to the remote southern Indian Ocean. What followed was unlike anything the aviation world had ever seen. More than 24 countries joined the effort. Military aircraft scanned endless stretches of ocean. Naval ships searched day and night. Advanced sonar systems mapped the seabed, while autonomous underwater vehicles explored depths reaching nearly 6,000 meters. The underwater search eventually covered almost 200,000 square kilometers of the Indian Ocean, making it the largest and one of the most expensive search operations in aviation history. Despite years of searching, the aircraft itself was never found. Hope returned in July 2015. A large aircraft component known as a flaperon washed ashore on Reunion Island, nearly 4,000 kilometers from the suspected crash area. Investigators confirmed it belonged to MH370. Over the following years, additional debris was recovered from the coasts of Mozambique, Madagascar, Tanzania, Mauritius, and South Africa. Several pieces were positively identified as parts of the missing Boeing 777, while others were considered highly likely to have come from the aircraft. These discoveries confirmed one heartbreaking reality. Flight MH370 had almost certainly ended in the Indian Ocean. However, the most important evidence, the main wreckage, the cockpit voice recorder, and the flight data recorder, remained missing. Without them, investigators could not reconstruct the aircraft's final moments with certainty.
Investigators examined every possible explanation. They analyzed maintenance records, satellite data, radar tracks, crew backgrounds, aircraft systems, weather conditions, and cargo information. The evidence confirmed that the aircraft deviated dramatically from its planned route and continued flying for several hours after disappearing from civilian radar. But why that happened remains unknown. The official Malaysian safety investigation report stated that because the main wreckage and flight recorders have never been recovered, investigators were unable to determine the definitive cause of the disappearance.
Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some suggest deliberate human intervention. Others point to a possible mechanical failure, onboard emergency, or loss of cabin pressure. Each theory explains some parts of the evidence, but leaves other questions unanswered. To this day, no theory has been officially proven. Without the flight recorders and the main wreckage, the aircraft's final minutes remain one of aviation's greatest unanswered questions.